Hello. I'm sure you'd have seen sugar free, right? That yellow and white color small dabba that you would see in medical shops and even in uh, grocery shops these days that the diabetic people buy. So, what are these sugar free or artificial sweeteners? Are they safe to be consumed? A lot of people say that if you consume sugar free or artificial sweeteners, it can cause cancer. It is carcinogenic. That's one of the allegations against it. It is also commonly used by people who want to save calories and lose weight. So, people who are on a weight loss journey also use this artificial sweetener. Are they really healthy? What does it do? Does it cause cancer? Is it safe to be consumed? Is it better than sugar? Can I stop sugar and have artificial sweetener instead? These are the common questions that a lot of people who come to enroll for our program has. I'm going to address that question down here today. So let's take the normal sugar, right? The table sugar. What is this table sugar? This table sugar is nothing but it's a disaccharide, meaning it's a combination of two monosaccharides. It's a disaccharide called sucrose. Okay, it's a combination of two monosaccharides called glucose and fructose. Yeah, so it's basically a simple carbohydrate with a very high glycemic index. Meaning to say that it basically becomes glucose in the blood pretty fast, and hence it can spike up the blood sugar level. So your body needs to immediately respond by releasing insulin, so on and so forth. Right. So it can cause for people who are diabetic an immediate increase of blood sugar levels can be not so healthy for them. So that's why they have the sugar free. Now, sugar free is basically a chemical which creates the same sensation of sweetness in your tongue but does not have calories and will not create a spike of glucose in your blood. Right. So, what are these chemicals? These chemicals are things like saccharin, then there is aspartame, and then there is something called sucralose. Okay, sucralose, not sucrose. Okay, sucrose is the sugar which has calories. So sucralose, aspartame, and saccharin are the commonly used artificial sweeteners. Now these artificial sweeteners, you get it in that powder format or you get it in that ball format, and that's what the sugar free is. So sugar free is a brand of one of these chemicals. So sugar free natura is sucralose, and sugar free gold is aspartame. Yeah, even the Splenda that you see, you would have seen in that yellow color small packets, that is also basically sucralose, right? So what happens is that these things, when you consume, it is not digested, it is not metabolized, it does not give calories, but it gives you a sensation of sweetness in your tongue, and you need a very little bit of it only to create that sweetness sensation. So you can still have it, you can still have your tea and add a little bit of sweetness to it, but it won't increase neither will it create calories nor will it increase the blood sugar level. So that's one part of it. Right now, where did this whole allegation of it is bad for health, it causes cancer and all that came from? There is a story behind it. So the one of the first artificial sweetener which was commonly used, was saccharin. Okay, now this saccharin is saccharin, aspartame, all these things are commonly added as an ingredient in the diet Pepsi or the diet Coke. Right, so diet Pepsi or diet Coke is 0 calories, that's what they say. Right, so these are the sugar which is added, of course added along with some amount of caffeine and other flavoring and things like phosphoric acid, so on and so forth. Right. So there was a research which was done in United States wherein a certain amount of saccharin was given to rats to understand how the rats behave, and it was found that over a period of a few months, these rats got cancer. They developed cancerous cell growth, and then these rats died. So from then it was deduced that saccharin can cause cancer among human beings, and hence it is not advisable. It created a lot of hue and cry in the US market among the health authorities. A lot of further research and studies. Temporarily, saccharin or artificial sweetener was banned in US. Then what happened was that there was a subsequent studies which came in, and in the subsequent studies, it was found that these rats were given saccharin in huge quantities. For a person or for a human being, it is equivalent to having roughly 800 cans of diet Pepsi or diet Coke in a single day, which is quite a lot, and nobody's going to have it to that much extent, right? And the rats were given this much amount of saccharin over a period of roughly around 8 months post which they found on a daily basis, and post which they found this cancerous growth. So then it was deduced that, you know what, according to the generally accepted regulations or rules, certain prescribed amount of artificial sweetness is perfectly okay to have as the deduction which they came to. And then they reintroduced these artificial sweetness in the American market. This, I'm talking about some research, the research paper that I read, which talks about this incident which happened in somewhere around 1970s. Yeah. So post which all these artificial sweeteners were reintroduced back into the market, and it's there in the Indian market also. So the cancerous causing ability of these artificial sweeteners are not conclusively proven, especially in human beings, because what is harmful for a rat need not necessarily be harmful for a human being also, right? That's point number one. Point to the quantity itself and the length of time for which the saccharin was given to the rats was also huge, right? It equivalent to 800 cans of a diet Pepsi on a single day basis for around 6 to 9 months is on a comparison level for human beings. That's not what we want to do any which ways. So that's a story about artificial sweeteners. Now, what would we prescribe, or what would we advise you to do? See, if you're on wanting to lose weight and want to save some calories, there is nothing wrong in having artificial sweetener once in a while. But personally, I wouldn't recommend having artificial sweeteners very often. Once in a while is quite all right. What I would rather suggest would be something called stevia. Now, what is stevia? Stevia is also a natural sweetener, but it's not artificial, but is zero calorie. Stevia is created from a plant which is commonly seen in the Latin American countries. Now it is cultivated in India also. So from the stevia plant, the sugar giving molecule is extracted, something called stevia glycosides, which is again not metabolized by human body, and hence is sweet in gives you a sweet kind of a sensation. This is natural. But the problem with stevia is that it kinds of gives a slight aftertaste. Most of the time, it will be a slight bitter aftertaste. So not many people might like it. Of course, depending upon the brand and depending upon the kind of the processing and the extraction process of this sugar thing from the stevia plant, the amount of bitterness may vary. All right. So that's basically what I wanted to speak about. Have I left out anything? Yes. So another thing about these artificial sweeteners is that, see, it works differently for different people. For some people who are really, really craving for something sweet and sugary things, if they have something which made out of artificial sweetener, say for example, make a gajar ka halwa with an artificial sweetener included in it might make them feel really good. It might feel them satiated. It will help them to get back to the original plan of sticking to calories and not having too much of sugar, etc., etc. Right? But then for some people, because you had an artificial sweetener, they will feel more and more attracted and wanting to eat actual sugar. So it differs from, for some people it helps, for some people it actually creates more craving. Right? Yes, one of the things is that it's a chemical. It does play around with your bacteria in your gut. There are a lot of helpful bacteria which helps in digestion. So these artificial sweeteners meddles around with these bacteria and can create indigestion in your human body. Right? So that's what I want to talk about on the artificial sweetener side. If you want to try it out, go ahead and try it out, and it definitely helps you to save calories. All right. So I hope this was helpful. As always, stay healthy, stay fit, stay young. Take care.